Good morning, friends. How's everyone doing today? Grace and I are really excited to resume our weekly garden walk and talks. All of the hydrangeas are in bloom, and we have lots of lily successions to show you, and even a sunflower succession in bloom at the moment. I'm really happy with how all the gardens are looking and transitioning, and I can't wait to show you the driveway garden because it's looking very patriotic at the moment. But since it's mid-June, let's start here in the hydrangea room because all of the hydrangeas are looking so beautiful, and I'm not sure that their color is going to be this good again. We're going to get into the hundreds later this week, which seems crazy to me. I think that must be a record, that it's going to be 101 in a few days. So we'll see what that does to the hydrangea room. But if you're brand new, this is a garden that you can watch me create here on YouTube if you like. I believe it's about 2 years old now. The right side of the border is 1 year older than the left side, but I think they've pretty much caught up with each other. So you've probably seen most of the hydrangeas before. So I'll try to focus on what's going on around them too. So right now, blooming around the hydrangeas, we have a stilbe. And a few years back, we planted a whole bunch of bare root astilbe in this garden from Longfield Gardens. This is a variety called Pipit. It's so beautiful on the shorter side. And this beautiful bubblegum pink, which looks so nice with the mini mauvet hydrangeas that you're seeing right here. I'm always talking about this hydrangea because I just think it's so beautiful. And it's called Limetta. And I love seeing the white hydrangeas right next to the pink hydrangeas. I think they just look so beautiful together and create this lovely tapestry of color. So take a look at this side first maybe. And I have been cutting in this garden, so you see a whole bunch of feverfew missing here. And that's just because I cut flowers from my gardens and sell them at a small roadside stand. So if you see holes in the garden, that's probably why. So this hydrangea right here is mini mauvet. The one behind that is Invincible Spirit. I have a wee white hydrangea tucked in right here. And Grace is making her way through Haas Halo. So just a lot of different varieties of smooth hydrangeas. Haas Halo is a smooth lace cap, and all the other ones are smooth mop heads. We'll get to Invincible Lace down there, also a lace cap. Also blooming in the hydrangea room is this Magic Green Feverfew, which is a fall sown feverfew. And I think that looks really beautiful. I always try to do a different cut flower in this garden each year. I've done Orlea, Feverfew. Next year I might come in with something blue. Maybe I'll do Larkspur or Nigella in here. But I usually do keep it white, just so that the hydrangeas really get a chance to shine. Okay, here comes Grace. Let me get her something to play with. So while I've tried to repeat the hydrangeas on both sides of the garden, I have not mimicked them symmetrically on purpose because I wanted a more loose, natural feel. That's just what I like personally. Here we have Invincible Lace. So that's this beautiful pastel pink lace cap smooth hydrangea. And you can see it's a little bit further along than Haas Halo. Oh, here's a catbird right here, not minding our presence at all. Haas Halo is just such a beautiful hydrangea with really strong stems. Speaking of strong stems, here's Incredible, and here's my hand for frame of reference. I'm holding an apple in case Grace gets anxious, and I'll just keep throwing apples at her to keep her busy. Incredible is so great. It's the improved version of Annabelle, which you see I have there in the distance, and I decided to cut Annabelle way back. I mean, I think I probably only left about 6 inches on Annabelle this year. So we'll see if that helps at all. Hey Grace, you want an apple? Here we have another Invincible lace. And as we travel around the hydrangea room and we take a look at Hummingbird Way, you can see there in the distance Grace's garden where we made that new bench earlier this week. So we've got Invincible Spirit 2 right here, Invincible Lace next to that, Haas Halo in the background, and I think this garden looks even better since we painted the garage that dark granite color. And you can see the sun has just risen and is shining on the garden now, so it's nice. We can really see the true colors of all these hydrangeas. Invincible Ruby is in between each arch. I lost one Invincible Ruby in the front. I think that's because I must have smothered it with the feverfew accidentally. So there's room to put in some more astilbe right here. I might go ahead and do that. I did leave in some begonias that were not supposed to be hardy in my area right here. And you can see that they did come back, and I wish I would have left more of them in. Here's the bench that we made the other day. And I've started to line Grace's garden with some stone. Some of the stone is from Country Garden Girl here on YouTube. Some of it's from my dad, and some of it I've just dug up from around the property. But here's that free bench we made the other day with Harry's stone on it. Here's a hydrangea that's looking really good this year. It's called Let's Dance Rave. Oh, let me throw Grace another apple. We have lots of wiggles this morning. But this is a garden that I don't think I've shown you much this year. It basically has things that I've just gotten for free, divisions from around the property. I'm pretty sure this hydrangea is Tough Stuff Aha, and those blooms have more of a water lily form to them. Oh, don't let me forget, I'll also show you the hydrangea that I propagated a few years ago from cuttings I took of Nico Blue. That's in the hydrangea room. Astilbe in bloom now. I'm pretty sure that one is Bridal Veil. But there's Grace sitting in her garden, and she's looking onto the hydrangea room. I was just talking the other day about how I feel like mountain hydrangeas are really underutilized. So there's a lot of big leaf hydrangeas and mountain hydrangeas here. Here's another Let's Dance Rave, looking so beautiful, and we're about to come upon the original Tough Stuff, which, look at this. I mean, it's just covered in blooms. There's just as many blooms, or shall we say bracts, as there are leaves. And I have that right next to another Bridal Veil Astilbe. And so this area is pretty much morning sun, maybe about 2 to 3 hours of sun in the morning, maybe 4 hours, and then shade the rest of the day as it gets shaded from apple and cherry trees. So that's where we started our tour, over in the hydrangea room. Now if we circle around the hydrangea annex, we'll see more hydrangeas because you can never have enough hydrangeas. And here we have the snowflake oak leaf hydrangea. Most of the hydrangeas in this garden are pretty small. I put them in as really small plants. But this garden is located under the canopy of a Coosa dogwood tree. And I have it underplanted with some feverfew that we started from seed together probably 2 years ago now. So there's definitely room for improvement over in the hydrangea annex, but there's been a lot going on this year, so I haven't concentrated on that garden too heavily. Once the feverfew goes to seed, I think we'll go ahead over there and make it look a little bit nicer. But let's go ahead into the main flower walk now and take a look at some more hydrangeas. You can hear the horse and buggy there in the distance. Here's a nice view of the garden library. through the hydrangeas, and even though there's not a lot going on in the raised beds right now, I want to tell you my plan for both sides of the garden library. And actually, with that in mind, let's actually stand right here because I think it will make more sense. So I was standing here the other day just looking at this view in the evening, and I thought, this is what I want the sides of the garden library to look like, because I kind of just stuck the raised beds back in immediately after we moved it because I wasn't sure what to do. But what I want to do is take out the one raised bed in the fall. Our local nursery tends to get a really nice shipment of hydrangeas in early fall. So once that happens, I'm going to eliminate this raised bed that has the trellising, the teepee trellising, and then I'm going to create a hydrangea garden on the left and right side of the garden library that kind of mimics the hydrangea room. It's going to have Haas Halo, Invincible Spirit, Incredible, Invincible Lace, and Ruby, I think. So we'll just have 5 of those hydrangeas on both sides. And then I think I want to come in with some really tall, skinny evergreens, 3, 1, 2, 3 on each side. So we'll work on that in the fall. But the ornamental oregano is looking really nice. This is someone asked me about the thyme that I'm growing from seed in the cracks. I think it took really well. You can see though I probably seeded it somewhat sporadically, so it's a little uneven. I think I need to get some more seed, but it did take well. There's a really gorgeous lily back here with wonderful fragrance. Some people call this the regal lily. It gets super tall. You can see it up there in the crabapple tree, but it's a trumpet lily. And each stem has, I don't even know, maybe 20 blooms on it. We have some Dara seeded into this area. And there's some calla lilies coming back. Here we have our first saving grace dahlia. And this is grown from my personal tuber stock, and I'll show you the ones grown from cuttings as we get closer to the entrance gate. Some beautiful sweet peas right now. We have lots of Verbena bonariensis that has seeded in the cracks of the stone rug. And I think it's time to remove some of this lamb's ear, but I'll wait for that heat wave to pass before I go ahead and do that. Gatsby Gal oak leaf hydrangea right here with some imperial blue larkspur, Amsonia, some gladiolas that will bloom in July. And here we have Annabelle hydrangea, and that's the one that I told you I cut it way, way back, all the way back to the ground essentially. So that's how the stone rug is looking. Grace and I can show you what's going on in the back of the property now. So here we have a bed of Pro-Cut peach sunflowers. Either I'm colorblind or something's wrong here because, am I crazy? These are not peach at all, right? Yeah, I'm confused about the Pro-Cut peaches. I don't think I'll grow them again. When they opened too, they kind of made a mess, even when I was cutting them tightly. So I think that was my main seed failure this year, is these Pro-Cut peaches. Kind of a waste of space back here, but we'll replace those with floret zinnias in about 2 weeks. Now here I have my bed of straw flower that's interplanted with gladiolas. You can see the gladiolas down there. So my thought and hope and plan was that by the time this straw flower bed was ready for its first cut, we'd be cutting it back down to the point where the gladiolas could take over, get that cut, and then hopefully have all the later cuts of the straw flower. So this is a combination of the apricot and the seashell mix. The apricot seed I had left over from another year, and the seashell mix I had purchased new this year. But this is the very back raised bed. So we'll keep these raised beds. We'll keep this one, this one. Oh, sorry, can't point, I get all blurry. And we'll keep that one where we have desert sun sunflower. And then we will just eliminate this bed right here as we make a garden on both sides of the library. In all these beds, I was having issues with soil being compacted, so I did a lot of planting just to break up the soil. So you can see we did these radishes in a video together, and I grew those just for the purpose of aerating the soil. You can see they have started to go to seed now. Those are the wasabi radishes. And then since we've created shade here, I decided to seed in some lettuce, and it's looking really nice. Hyacinth bean is climbing up these trellises. And to utilize the space under these branching sunflowers, I planted spinach, and I'm going to repeat that henceforth. This combination has worked out so well, and my family and my parents have been able to eat this spinach continuously for the last few weeks. And it's cooler and it's shaded under those sunflowers. So that's just really wonderful. I'm growing a mix of vegetables and ornamentals in these raised beds here. Nothing too showy to look at the moment, but here's the basil that was getting eaten by something a few weeks ago. I did nothing and it came back. You can see I have bells of Ireland in there with dahlias, tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers. We have lilies in the front, interplanted with saponaria. I did cut back all the ranunculus in this bed, but all the corms are still in the ground. God bless you, Grace. All right, let's head over to the driveway garden now. So I'm trying to go for a patriotic color scheme over here in the driveway garden. And this is a continuous color scheme that I'm trying to create with different bulbs and annuals for cutting. So you see I have the larkspur blooming right now. Once again, this is imperial blue larkspur. And I have it interplanted with a couple different kinds of Asiatic lilies. Asiatic lilies are the first to bloom. So down below we have pink country. And then I do have a lily mix, an Asiatic lily mix planted also back here. I'll have to put the name of that on the screen. I can't remember exactly what it is. We have some yarrow that we started together from seed last year. It's finally blooming now. And look how tall that dara is. That dara is probably 6 feet tall. So I'm gonna get the red, quote unquote, which is really more of a deep raspberry pink, through the use of different lily successions. And sorry if it's a little bit loud over here. We do live on a main road. We have Orlea grandiflora seeded throughout this garden. I wouldn't say that this garden is looking awesome or finished by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think we're getting there, and it does have a nice succession of blooms. And I thought I was only growing blue reflection sweet peas up these, but I'll put another name on the screen because I seeded a bunch of sweet peas one day and I think I might have mixed up the labels. But we also have some sea holly back here for that blue color. And these plants I got as small plants last year from Jung Seed. I think they might have bloomed a little bit last year, but they've really taken off now. So you can just kind of see all these lily successions that will be coming on in the weeks ahead. I pulled us back to the corner of the driveway garden, which is located under the canopy of an apple tree. So it's getting some shade in the afternoon over here. And we have an old Nico blue hydrangea. Oh, I have to show you the propagated hydrangea. We have Rosella's Dream right here, which is a beautiful Asiatic lily, really early. Behind that, we have a fig. Okay, so while I'm thinking about it, and I need to bring Grace back out here because she's barking like crazy, here is the hydrangea, one of them, that we did water propagation on. Once again, you only want to propagate a plant that is not under patent currently. So this is a Nico blue hydrangea, And so this is what this plant looks like 2 years after I took cuttings from it. And I think I took the cutting in June, so it's almost exactly 2 years old. The instant hedge boxwood is looking so beautiful, and all we have up here in the front is the insta hedge boxwood and the incredible hydrangeas. So let's head into the main flower walk now. We have more sweet peas growing up the fence. I think what catches your eye right away, oh, here comes the sun, everyone. Hopefully you can see all right still. I think what catches your eye straight away are these eastern moon lilies. These are easily 6 feet tall. I think they're either 3, maybe 4 years old now. They're just getting started. I personally don't smell anything when I walk by these, but they're so gorgeous, and just look at how the petals reflex. I think I could do just a 3-hour video staring at these eastern moon lilies. I might be the only one that wants to watch that kind of video, but I just love lilies so much. More sweet peas growing up all these trellises. So we're kind of lulling here right now. I did lilies in pots. There's 5 different lily pots, but they're all OA lilies. They're Kavari. And I think what I should have done is an additional 5 pots with Asiatic lilies, something like Pink Country, so that we would have a focal flower earlier in June. Because as you can see, it's kind of lulling here in the main flower walk. There isn't really a focal flower to look at. There's a few regal lilies in here that I don't even remember planting. Saving Grace is getting started, but everything's kind of resting before the dahlias start and before the OA lilies start. So I think lesson learned there. Next year I'll do some Asiatic lilies in pots as well. Foxglove still in bloom. Lady's mantle looking beautiful. The pineapple lilies that aren't supposed to be hardy here also came back. But as you can see, kind of in between week here in the main flower walk. So we can head into the garden library now. I asked on the community tab if you'd like to talk about dried flowers or plant propagation, and definitely people wanted to talk about plant propagation. So I do have one book that's completely dedicated to that. And then I also want to reference the Master Gardener Manual because they have a great chapter on plant propagation. And I think if you go to your Master Gardener office, you should be able to look through one of their manuals. I'll double check on that. Grace, do you want to go in the library? So here we have the Plant Propagator's Bible. I think the most useful part of this book is the explanation of all different types of cuttings. So whether we're talking about softwood cuttings, semi-hardwood cuttings, semi-ripe cuttings, hardwood cuttings, she explains how to do each one. This leafing cutting is very interesting. I've never done that before, and we should try that together because we have some begonias, the begonias that I was talking about in the hydrangea room. Let's try that really soon. So some things I think are readily available on the internet in terms of how to do these things, but I think it's nice to have a book where you can just look at it. And I tell you what, whenever I open one of these books and look through it, then I immediately want to go into my garden and just propagate everything and try out some different methods. So that's what it looks like inside the Plant Propagator's Bible. If you go through the Master Gardener program, they have a chapter dedicated to plant propagation, which I think is really good. And here's a direct comparison from the Plant Propagator's Bible to the Master Gardener Manual. Both very helpful. Both cover pretty much the same things. So I think this is a really great book, and I also want to go ahead and put a lot of free links in the description section on not only plant propagation, but specifically bulb propagation, because I feel like the best resource there is free and on the internet, and that is just to go to that Cornell University website and search the bulb that you're looking for. Well, friends, I think that brings us to the end of this week's Garden Walk and Talk. We're really excited to get back to these, and pretty soon we'll be doing 4th of July bouquets at the flower stand. We'll see you sometime soon. Bye, friends.